Hello and welcome to another episode of Headshot Podcast. Today, we're just here, one Nagaland Kulido, most probably Manuan Pijana, Nagaland Kulido, Hornbill Pijane, or by spicy foods, I would say. But today I just wanted to state out something that I feel like Nagaland could be. I mean, you guys can disagree on that. There's no issues on that. But I feel like Nagaland, in some sectors, they don't want for jazz, agi jazz. And in the first point, I would like to mention that entrepreneurs and startups in Nagaland, as per the Northeast Development Corporation, there has been 35% increase in the past 5 years, startups kanla, and more than 300 entrepreneurs startups can register till now. And to name a few would be like Naga Education, Naga Ed Ho, and then Elando. It's an e-commerce website where people can sell their handicrafts there. And then there is this Redimension Gaming, which won the upcoming Game of the Year in 2024. So I feel like do you think these startups, with good intentions, obviously, but do you think there are certain drawbacks which are which they can do better? Or in the real picture, how do you feel about that? How do you guys feel about that? Both of you also. What do you think on the sector? Any entrepreneurs and startups ko ledo?
Apni kuchna Nagaland can be will be the next big thing in India. Well, maybe, but in the long run, that is.
In the long run, right?
Because basically, my observation is, manuan agi jaze tando ini agi do jaze mando hoy kita ase mon bi olibi pace to hoy slow ase mola chaka de manu ye kita la pace to slow ase olibi kita ase. Yes, rightly said, hobo pare next big thing. Nagaland state to India de olibi not so early. Yeah, okay. Maybe in the long run or so, because kwan is na one ajigli gurado idu manondo pulara guna chazudo. Right. Which is
My day catch up.
Yeah, that's one. Aro manon ulibi tanbido idu gurinado nabuhedo na tanbi developing. I mean, develop gure. Dorni kwan is na tanbido tana jendo mechanism do ini juli thagedo to tanbi haki jase monbi slow and steady jase.
Okay. True, very true. This we're starting somewhere else, but still then drawbacks on the shares.
True. Catch up or ledo chaka bishes. Apni ki way.
Mula dekhi apni dijun ko anishna ase. Slowly, gradually, mukon aste rado kick up to Korea ase. But mukon chanu lagi ki data and facts. Mukon keep buy na. Hota idu ki rely na kuru lage. Because sabi they are registered bhi hobe. Tade ba kiman function kurna chahiye ase.
Right.
Tade aro government support noile nijor bhi takan pengrap hoina asna nai noile takan la startup to kina lui ja ase. Idu saule idu evaluate kurule manu nai to just that mukon data ase. Kote mention kurna ase iman startup hoise. Du kina lui ja ase idu na jane mukon. Kwan jina idea areas to bishi ase mukon. Right. And then Nagaland do ini hotspot ekta gube like kila field de ulebi ekta ani dishe gule do tade progress kurna chau arala chaka ekta ase to gwan china time lagu do hoy like we are making good progress so living along the way hurdles be bishi ase ulebi time lagu to be that very big thing in India. Yeah.
At least we're taking a first step, I would say, at least. So that's a good point on our side. And then, point consider gonna be, it's very true. Maybe some startups, they have the upper hand because of some political, pegging and then some people who are really without any pegging that's very true. So,
there are one is na video la first fale apni gushe more than 300 registered or something entrepreneurs. So there are one is na numbers kan ulibi manipulate bhi grow pare ulibi you never know. Aro sob manu jan dago mola jaga de do ekta kiba ekta kholai na first phale alp juliwo and then abandon usage nai puje je timapur bhitor de bi sabina be it industries right small scale industries hubi medium hubi noli bi ni chitumuton hubi abandon kurna asu to so one maybe tatak bi throw na parna je one start grab stickly half price chhade kile agel luina chawo na pare maybe tatak bi to you know
in that process
yeah phabi dagi ulibi tatak bi throw na parna je ulibi pisibak to enga asu to mala jawa je you know people start up and then yeah halfway to the chhade abandon rakhi de so itu big tap phapna grow lela kotha bone
that's true so like keeping in mind that in the mind will be people who are like planning to start your own startups halfway na China do it full way ki will be try your best ki and will be do this that's our that's the message from my side and
mon mendo nagaman na lazy as
yeah
shida jide mon chi 100% do dina kurumun nai do aro सब manu jane सब manu goye nagaman do lido ek para kamaule bisare do right mon do level hisab di uthule do phapna di nai do ek para level 100 te jaw goye monon itorni bi mar kha jaga pise sida de mon nagaman na itorni and nijora mon dina gule do hu jawo it's just that because we're lazy maybe partly to lazy as hasi as live tai do mostly as moi do partly lazy as tai do mostly lazy as
good way I get your point brother so anyway like we'll move on to the next point I would say like already startups entrepreneurs and startups ala mana point of view share gurije the next one would be about broadband connectivity or in general internet connectivity in Nagaland I feel like we are going really because I feel like it in Nagaland maybe there are some parts where one connectivity an issue like there is still as right because rural parts Koima or like you need the main towns in all the village in all the district of Nagaland hando thakeo bari connectivity but maybe the rural parts hando one connectivity issue ai talu as right and then one recently government by this smart app on entries koise for the teachers right so I feel like etla point do moi muk dijing tiu mun ja I feel like do you think like bon ita do man Nagaland capacity as to like do app te yes do you think like the this man like government ne do man like do government teachers kamba as the na government initiative do you think like tan by excuse sam chi bana as matlab man ne ro khan na by do ko le do smile app khan initiate ko le do inan baz because social media dikhai do tan ina ko an complain wala
idu du mola source privacy ni huni pai ase ki hoy smile app lagdo especially to abni mention ko to hoy connectivity paule lop tan ase hoy kile na bo because iton do high tech khan hobo do right phone debi for instance 4G phone 5G phone ulibi connection do phone ulibi connection bal na bai do to iton do high tech app khan do lido internet connectivity phal lage na yes to iton thagina do smooth par run guru do to pusti phale do nole ki yan phale do itu anya do ekta ki go
tan kane aro ekta obstacle
wall clock ekta nisuli battery na thaka nisna
good point
connectivity nai to ani nai bi ki faida right first things first aro for instance state government by to implement kurise it is mandatory issue do
right
na mandatory issue do do they also know that internet connectivity do poor ase bahar jaga phale na pusi phale or especially eastern phale itu bi janibo lage manon na oi implement kura to bala ase no doubt pishi bala ase do for the benefit of all citizens pishi bala ase initiative ulibi tan itu gura nishna aro hand to hand tade attach kurule connectivity level bi olop saina chale to bhalo ho thaka
tambi pura in depth pai sob saina that's true anything you want to add on that brother
Tade ini add kuru munja ekta see idia smile app initiative mompal good initiative
Yeah,
hobo.
that's all.
Like gradually slowly takan idu do sob jaka debi punju pare idia karni to flash to grow na paru to because see idia Nagaland la schools kan government middle school kan la complain kiman ase like proper classroom nai chair table nai roof phal nai to kina kurna idu high tech to takan ki shikawo buji ase idu kina ka takan operate kurna lui jawo when there is no chair table iku nai classroom ekta nai teacher ekta nai gule to idu kun ra sai na chalawo takala initiative pal ase takan idia ki luisi na government pa ki step luisi like idia karni to rural areas te takan idu phal ra function kuro paro olebi asti de future ande idu to like one good thing hobo like check kurala bhi hobi and then kun la spot te ase kun kila proxy ase like everything any ekta mokon ekta time de thakisna Aadhaar card mokon bana time de kun banawo and then once it became mandatory na so manu idia to upai nai banawo lagi jaise itu nishna ho like the smile app later stage te akan itu to mokon lage inala demand ekta hui jawo but right now government bhi janu lage ki na punje itu kan first punja ho lage after that ki upgrade kurule ase ki nutun system anule ase revise kurina anile bal moila point of view do ekta
And taking into account the point of view this smile app is relatively new in Nagaland lado so and then your point of view very much hunilujed lado matlab being the connectivity issue in rural parts of Nagaland khanodiwi but in that sense movie I want to put out a counter argument I would say or a counter point where like I feel like kumando it will be a legit reason where like man hosabi connectivity na pai only kumando it will legit reason khan lo they tan la behind because they don't want to work they don't want to because in Nagaland we know na like there are some institutes where they midday meal scheme han ta mina de and like these are like khota no goli dan do dikhe mon or even in Dimapur also the government institute government school where like manwan aina ta de ke ase the recently DMs ke ase Dimapur Union ban guda do where like it is supposed to be a government school na high school ase but they are using it as a dispensary so maybe there are like legit places where like the smart lab can be of great use but again there are places where like it was smart lab tan it manwan by issues kan in the connectivity issue tan eta khali excuse kone tan kiba tan ini ignore gode because they don't want that work culture because smile app to ekbar implement phalo le do so manu we have to be present though according to the system matlab man aze because as per the smile app to tan location ami sob side in that point all privacy issue hai kimisha ko la do location sob check karabe but still then sob ide so ki ko tan productivity increase ko la ase do holiwi the older generation they feel like jani as man like kuma do subsidy kham shira ke teachers kan so that la we tan yu da de lop in kiba like ini ki go tan ideology clash we nego la na
Abdullah puni torne go Abdullah puni bujije na Abdullah puni bujije man jani ase forget about rural area de busi area fale charibe town cities kan debi network issues azu do pishe azu do network issues too right
no it's debatable bro town area for me Dimapur and Chumu and then like in the main villages in our different districts of Nagaland do connectivity do maybe 20% could be an issue but like 80% I'm sure there will be proper connectivity as far as I'm concerned
acha complain kan do town cities kan bra ayan hoido smile ba do na town cities ta kan do ayan do as far as I know de do bahar jaga ra yeso do na do ina excuses kan do network issues la do I bole sona first in janias manan bi aro in fact concern authority and witan bi jania thago itoni to itona excuses kan na ni bole olo connectivity and the first check kurigena on check rakhina implement kole bi bhal lagise first
trial nishna rakhi
exactly trial jana network connectivity kinga jule ase right itu ase aro apni ta guse tan do enga lokawli bi kur ta gule pare guse
Sorry, they don't want to work.
ya apni itu guse ulibi apni bi do China do sanai do right network to kiniga ase tadi network issue kinga ase tu itu nishina concern department khan authority an kun implement guse than bi China tadi saise network to kiniga ase tan bi visit kurise itu bi ta question ulai do manura complaint gure ase una one ide guna tan enga lokawle itu nawo guna ro paper likhina dili nawo do complaint gure ase to complaint receive kuribi chagina physical check kuribi osala kan network issue ase na ki ase itu bi pare do huili bi enga do nai na on spot verification to be si kom dia ase
Yeah, that's true. One government can be basically the government can be kun do initiatives or they should scrutinize the areas uniki banli tan power scrutinize can go like and then even if we talk about mobile towers can we in Nagaland we have around 1600 mobile telecom towers can be shares there and one key will be to be honest like phone calls and like ini don't though it's actually though it's ini someone who smartphone cholayo. So I feel like maybe there are some parts of Nagaland where like it will be connectivity though, but I'm saying that like maybe some parts where tan connectivity I say we tan ba utilize na kore. They don't want to go ahead in that sense. They quit actually though. But overall, it's like tade do kuti ko na you have smile P there's a good impact and a negative impact. So I feel like it one sign government ba agile ko na they should like khali it start with don't just ina chhardi tan yearly maybe half yearly do some research can go and then you implement something better like to be honest like kaizen it's a Japanese term where it means continuous improvement so basically that because kijan kolibi implement kolibi improvement lage do you should always improve on good go like
for example phone khan ulibi update khan kur go lage na itu nishna system khan ulibi don do on check rakhe da go lage na
It was it. So basically, like we should strive for continuous improvement in Gigi and Holi. Man, hotai itu kurise and then Nagaland are the bishes. Ek pasat kurise and then halfway the power jai and then nothing go like it na. That's what I would like do the way point the minute to do it basically. So anyway, like before I wind this episode, do you guys want to insert anything or anything like you want to say in regards to this like one other? But yeah, so anyway, like thank you so much for joining us in this episode. This episode touched to talk about Nagaland. Like what if like one manager gives endorsement like who could be we have the capacity to lead in many sectors kan as one in the field of agri-tech or like could be digital India or like in industries kan we have the capacity, but I feel like one la true capacity to man showcase Nagurna ase. So I feel like we should all strive towards a better Nagaland. That's what I feel. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Until next time.